Hey, this is David Crone with HorseRacingNation.com. We only have one real Kentucky Derby prep on April 17th this coming weekend, and it's not a huge Derby prep this year. It's the Lexington. Of course, this is the race Charismatic won years ago en route to becoming a Derby winner. This year, it's kind of hard to envision any of these horses being Derby winners. Maybe the winner out of this race could make it into the Derby field. That will have to do with some defections coming in the next couple weeks, which there's already been a few this week, so maybe one of these horses could get into the field. It's not the best Derby prep we've seen by any stretch of the imagination, but with the kind of extremely strange results we had last weekend, right now it's kind of wide open past Escondrea. So the Lexington is shaping up to be a pretty interesting race. It's a big field, so it's a good race to talk about. So when you look at the Lexington, all discussion has to start with Uptown Charlie Brown. This is a horse that all the mojo in the universe has to be favoring. Uptown Charlie Brown, he's a great story to begin with. All the owners, Fantasy Lane Stables, this is a great group that owns this horse, and now Alan Sewald, the trainer, dies earlier this week. I mean, all the racing mojo, all the racing gods have to be in Uptown Charlie Brown's corner, and I think he's got a huge shot in here. Looking at the pace, it could get kind of hot. You got Krypton, you got XI, you got Lonesome Street that has some speed. But there's not an overwhelming presence of speed in here, so I don't think it's going to get crazy hot. But those horses up there will make for a pretty solid, honest pace. Behind them, you're going to have horses like Uptown Charlie Brown, Distorted Dave, Bushwhacked, Call Shot should be up there. Then, when you go back a little further than that, Heavenville, Kettle River, Prince Will.I.am, Chief Counsel. Chief Counsel is kind of an interesting horse in here. I don't really know where he's going to be. He just worked 46-4, which is really, really, really obscenely fast for a Bill Mott horse to work. So it's going to be interesting to see what Chief Counsel does here. I don't love Chief Counsel. I don't think he's run fast enough. I don't really love any of his races that he's coming out of. Last time was his first time routing. He didn't really impress me. He kind of just plodded along in the lane's end. You get down to the horses that are real contenders in here, and Uptown Charlie Brown, of course, is in that mix. You also have horses like maybe Bushwhacked, who is coming right off a maiden race win, but he's shown some ability. Call Shot, who just ran third behind Radiohead and Homeboy Chris in a pretty good field. You have horses even like Lonesome Street and XI, who are coming out of the Rushaway. To me, it's kind of hard to really pick a horse out of here. I'm going to go with Uptown Charlie Brown. I love the story. I'm going to go with this horse. I think he's got a huge shot in here. I think he's running probably better races than the rest of these horses. Even though the Tampa Bay Derby might not be the strongest looking prep with how the horses have come out of it, Odysseus came out of it to get hurt, so you can't really judge his effort in the Bluegrass. Schoolyard Dreams ran okay. Super Saver ran pretty good at Oaklawn last week. So I think Uptown Charlie Brown's a solid play in here. I think the horses you can use with him are maybe Krypton a little bit, even though I don't love him. That horse would depend on price. If you get 10-1 on Krypton, throw him in underneath. I think that Call Shot is definitely a factor in here. Call Shot's probably my second favorite horse in the race. Then you can get to some horses like maybe Lonesome Street, maybe even Chief Counsel out there off that really fast work. He's a live long shot in here. I don't really like Kettle River. I don't really like Connemara, who's probably going to be an underlay. I don't like Heavenville coming out of all the Louisiana bred races. I don't think Prince Will.I.am's fast enough. So I kind of get back to those other ones I just mentioned. Again, I'm going to take Uptown Charlie Brown. I think Call Shot's the second best horse in the race. I think those two are the top two in this field. So good luck, and let's hope Uptown Charlie Brown brings up the stables of Fantasy Lane Stables. It's a horrible, horrible thing that we had to go through. That's one of the real tragedies in racing and in any sport. So I hope he steps up. I hope he runs a great race. And I hope you all have a great week. Make sure you check out HorseRacingNation.com. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you soon.